everyone, and welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time here, an extra special welcome to you. This is just my space here on YouTube where I share updates on all the things I've been crafting, be it knitting, crochet, sewing, paper crafting, and any other crafts I can get into between episodes. It has been quite a while since I have recorded, and so I won't go into a lot of detail, but just say that life has been a bit complicated, but I'm doing fine, and I'm just so happy to be back here with you to share with you the things I've been working on. If this is your first time here, you can find me on Instagram as Tie-Dye Diva, and let's see, on Ravelry you can also find me as Tie-Dye Diva, and yeah, I think that's it. So without further delay, let's get into the making. I hope you have a warm, comforting beverage. I hope you have your craft of choice, maybe a pair of socks or whatever it is that you're working on while you're watching today, and your favorite cozy beverage. I am finishing up coffee cup number 2 today. So that's what I'll be sipping on throughout today's podcast. I do not have any show notes today, so bear with me. I just knew that if I did not record this podcast today, that another week would go by, and I just did not want that to happen. So, without further delay, let's get into the making. I also want to mention my neighbors are home upstairs, so if you hear creaking, it is my very loud neighbors upstairs. So I'm going to try to edit out as much of it as I can. I'm not using my microphone today because as I was setting up my camera, my phone dropped on top of the adapter that goes into the phone, and I literally cannot find it anywhere. I think Cashmere is my cat. He will find it before I do, most likely. So I'm not able to reduce noise as usual. So please bear with me today. All right, let's get into it. So let's first do finished objects. I have 2 finished objects. And the first finished object I'm going to share with you are a pair of socks. These I completed a couple of weeks back. They haven't even been blocked yet. These are for me. And the pattern that I use is my usual go-to fingering weight sock pattern, which is top-down socks on magic loop, which is a pattern by Kay Litton, also known as the Crazy Sock Lady. The yarn that I'm using, I believe this is by Fiber Genie. This was one of the colors for Diddy Daddy and her 2025 Sock Week, and it's a very pretty color. I don't know whether you can see that it is a sparkle skein. There is just a basic heel flapping gusset and a contrast toe, which is also in the sparkle base. So I knit these as I usually do on a US 1 needle, and I love the way they turned out. I have been toying with the idea of going down to a US 0 to knit socks, just because I'm just curious to see if I can get a denser fabric. But as I'm looking at these socks that were knit on a US 1, which feel very dense and very like it would really fit my leg and foot snugly the way I want them to, I think I will have to use the US 0 depending on which sock yarn that I'm using. So this is a very plump, full sock yarn. So I think if I'm using a yarn like this, I could stick with the US 1. Anything like a light fingering or a fingering weight yarn that's not as hefty as this, then I will switch to the US 0 and maybe go up in my stitch count a bit. So yeah, so this is my first finished object of the day. My second finished object is not 100% finished because I still need to seam it, but I wanted to show it to you. Anyway, this is the Grid Gambit Cowl by Samantha Guerin. So this end here will have to be seamed to this end here. So we'll go like this. I'm going to seam that using a mattress stitch, trying to line up the color work lines as best as I can. And I will end up with a cowl in this shape. So the longer portion will hang down the front of my neck, and then the back of it will scrunch up around the back of my neck, and I think it's going to be super warm. But I absolutely love the way this turned out. This is mosaic knitting, and it is just such a fun way to do color work without a lot of thought. Very simple. Her pattern writing is just impeccable. I think this is my second time knitting a Samantha Guerin pattern, and I absolutely love her writing style. Let's see, the yarn that I use, the color changing yarn is my hand spun, and this was a skein by Hello Yarn, and it knit up to about a sport to DK weight. There are definitely some thick and thin sections, but the beauty of hand spun is that once it's all knit up, you cannot tell which strands are thinner, which strands turned out thicker. It just always works out so wonderfully. And the solid yarn that I use is by 29 Bridges, one of my favorite indie dyers, if not my favorite indie dyer, and that color is rose gold on their DK base. Bring it up a little closer so you can see. So I'm so pleased with this. Again, I just have to seam it, and I will share it with you on the next podcast. Hopefully it won't be another 2 or 3 months. I'm actually toying with the idea of just turning on the camera and recording every week, just to catch you up on what I'm doing, whether it's in paper crafting or in the kitchen, yarn hauls, specialty hauls, or whatever interesting thing I've been getting into. I think I hesitate to turn the camera on when everything isn't perfect. Either I'm not feeling well, I'm a bit under the weather, or just I think I just find excuses not to podcast, mainly because that perfectionist personality wants to show up sometimes. But I'm really thinking about just recording every week, even if it's only 15 minutes every week, so that I can get you caught up on what's been going on. So let me know what you think about that. So again, this is The Great Gambit by Samantha Guerin. Now let's get into works in progress. Let's start out first with socks. And I'm hesitating because, oh, here it is. There's a pair of socks that I did not have with me here. The first pair of socks I'm going to show you is from a new to me dyer, and they, her name of her company is called Stone Cellar Dye Works. I picked this yarn up from the Hagerstown Fiber Festival this year. I believe that was in September, maybe? And every autumn, I love to knit myself a pair of autumn themed socks. And she had this beautiful skein, or I should say a beautiful sock set. And here it is. Now, if that does not speak autumn, I don't know what does. It's so pretty. And so I have completed sock 1, which is here. I still have to put in the toe, so I'm going to do the Kirby Werby method of an afterthought. Did I say toe? I still have to complete the heel, so I will be using the Kirby Werby method of doing an afterthought heel. That's why I have this different color marker there. And I have made quite a bit of progress on sock 2. Almost there, and I need to place my markers every 10 rows and then put in generally what I do is 12 markers, so I guess that would be 120 rounds. So I will need to do that and then place a different color marker at round 60, just as I did for the finished pair, to make sure that they're matching up. As you can see, I'm almost there. And this that I showed earlier will be the color I use for the heel. And again, I'm knitting a US 1 needle. And this is one of those yarns I was talking about earlier. It's a really lovely yarn, but for some reason, this is knitting up really, really loosely. So I'm thinking this is one of those plumper yarns that would really benefit from a tighter gauge. So yeah, we'll have to see. I think this is going to be just a trial as I go situation in getting the perfect gauge for socks, because this yarn actually feels very plump, but it's still, I feel it's knitting up really, really loosely. And I don't know whether it's just my gauge. I have been having some issues with my hands, a lot of pain in my hands. I think I've talked to you about some skin issues I've been experiencing that are now affecting the tips of my fingers. And so I think I've been knitting looser just to accommodate for that pain, just being really careful about the way the yarn hits up against my fingers in certain places. So that could be it. But I do think that if I stuck with the 56 stitch count on a US 0, it would give me the perfect gauge that I'm looking for. So we will see. We will see, and I will definitely keep you posted about that. So if you're a sock knitter, let me know, do you tend to use a US 1, a US 0? I have a friend who knits her socks on a US 2 because she's a very tight knitter. So yeah, just let me know what your thoughts are on that. Next up is another pair of socks I've been working on for quite some time. These are going to be for my son. These were also knit on a US 1 with a 56 stitch heel count using the same pattern by Crazy Sock Lady. And here it is. I feel like it's getting darker and darker in here. It's in the afternoon, but it's really overcast today, so hopefully you can see things well enough. So here we are. I think these could definitely benefit from a good blocking and soaking to loosen up those stitches. Just I won't say loosen, but just to relax the stitches a bit more. As you can see, I did a really tall ribbing for this sock. I love that look. I think this is definitely over 2.5 inches of ribbing. Just a basic heel flapping gusset, and closed it with a Kitchener stitch. I'm sorry, but I don't have the ball band for this, so I don't know what the color is, but honestly, you can't go wrong with any of the Regia, Arnie, and Carlos sock yarns. They're just absolutely beautiful always. And let's see here. This is the progress on sock 2. I think I have I think I have a few more stitches to go before I close up the gusset. But this is my progress thus far. See, the heel flap is done, the heel turn is done, and we're looking good. So yeah, very, very happy with these, and look forward to sharing them with you when they are all done. Okay, I don't know why I was hesitating. I think something popped in my head and then popped right back out. So now the final pair of socks I want to share with you are from, this yarn is from Woolens and Nosh. This is a 24 row striper. And I absolutely love, love, love this colorway. It's basically a gradient within certain color schemes. And it came with a contrasting skein for the heel, toe, and cuff. But I decided to use a different color for my cuff because each color is separated by brown. I didn't want to start out with a brown cuff and then have that brown skein. So I just used something out of stash, which is this color here. I think this is by Graceling Yarns. I'm not even sure if they're still dyeing yarn. I've had this for quite some time. And so that's what I use for the cuff. And I think that's working out very, very well. And I already have my marker in for my afterthought heel. I don't know whether you can see that there. So yes, so once these are all done, I will something just flew right out of my head again. I think I'm in that special time of life where thoughts just don't come and stay with you. It's a very strange phenomenon. And if you are there with me, then you probably already know what I'm talking about. And this is on her Superwash Tarhi base. And that's the main reason I wanted to get this. Because I wanted to experience knitting with her Superwash Tarhi base, and it did not disappoint. This yarn is so absolutely lovely. It's nice and toothy like a non-superwashed wool would be, but just because it's been treated, it's just a little bit easier on the hand. So it's almost like you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting the best of a non-treated wool along with what we love about superwash wools. So very, very lovely yarn. This will not be my last skein from Woolens and Naj. I think I have knitted with this base before. I think the colorway I had is called the Percolator. So it's, of course, all shades of browns and beiges. But let's see, what happened with that? I finished sock 1, and I was going to move on to sock 2, and I realized that for some reason sock 1 was just much wider and looser in gauge, just like the other sock I was telling you. So I ended up frogging that sock, and this yarn is definitely one I think could benefit from a US 0 or either a US 1 with fewer stitches, but this is already as small as you can get. But I guess if you're doing an afterthought heel, it doesn't matter how many stitches you cast on. So I don't know. I'll have to do some research to figure it out. So that's it for the socks. I have 3 pairs of socks on the needles. I really don't like having more than 1 pair of socks on the needles, but it just so happened that I had those yarns and I was just itching to cast them on, and so that's what I did. The coffee is so good. So let's move on into a couple of other works in progress. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I think I just have 3 more things to share with you. I don't know why I thought there were more. Actually, 4 more things. It's right over there. I'm going to have to get up and get it. But for now, let's talk about what I have right in front of me. So this is a blanket that I started, maybe back in September, right after I finished that huge shawl, my reading shawl I cast on for this blanket. Me and my friend Stacy, hey Stacy, are knitting this together, and this is my progress thus far. It's so pretty, so pretty, and so enjoyable. So the yarn that I'm using are two strands of fingering weight held together. And the main color that I'm using with the various skeins of fingering weight is from Yarn Citizen. This is their Unity fingering base, and the color is Petal. Let me get this pop-up off of my phone. Okay, so the color is Petal. That's pretty true to color. It's a little bit more pink than what I'm seeing in the screen. Really, really pretty. Let's see here. So I initially purchased 4 of these, which should be enough according to the pattern. And I'm knitting it on a US 8, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah, so it's cost for it to be knit on a US 8. And so what I'm finding is that my gauge is very different from what the pattern gauge should be. My gauge is very loose and open. I think, again, that's just an issue I've been having lately, and I'm thinking it's just because I'm just a little bit looser in the way I knit because I've been having all this hand pain. So I already gone through 1 and over 1.5 skeins. This is how much I have left in my second skein of fingering of the main color. And so I'm technically halfway done with the blanket, which, as you can see, is not going to be long enough for a blanket. So I ordered 2 more skeins of this yarn from Jimmy Beans. And when I got it home, I realized I'd ordered the wrong base. So I'm going to have to go back to Jimmy Beans and place another order for the right base. So I think the base that I purchased has alpaca in it. I should probably see if I can exchange or return. Let me look at their return policy. In any event, I'm going to have to go back and get the proper base so that I can all my skeins will match. So again, this is the main color, and I'm just going to briefly show you all of the other colors I'm holding this with. So it's a beautiful green, this lovely skein right here, this one here, which is actually a sparkle base. It's so pretty. I feel like the sun wants to come out. This lovely, lovely color here. I think this is called Henley. It's a plucky knitter color. This lovely skein here. Oh, look at that. I think this one's from Mitchell's Creation. This was actually gifted to me by a dear friend. And I think this is by King Fibers. And finally, no, I think I've got one more. And there's some pink, this one here, pinks and purples. And finally, this one here with blues, different shades of blue. And so I'm just alternating. Oh, actually, there are about 2 more. Hold on. And I think I've gotten through all the colors in this blanket. I think I've used them all, yeah. So now I'm going back to repeating the colors, holding it with the main color. And this is a beautiful, almost like a buttermint or some, no, not buttermint. This is it's just very minty to me. This is a Farmer's Daughter Fiber Sock Squad color. I knit a beautiful pair of socks out of this. So this is like a, oh, how do I describe this? Maybe like a light pistachio, maybe? And this color here, which is just a very light turquoise. Very, very pretty. So I've already gotten through all of those colors, and now I'm going back and repeating with the same colors I've already used. And I'm not going to do it in the exact order that I did the first go around of the colors, and I'm going to switch them up so that it doesn't look overly intentional. So very much loving these this project. It is so relaxing. It's all garter stitch. There are no increases. The pattern tells you how many rows to knit of each color, but as you can see, I've just changed that up according to whatever mood I was in. And take a look at these adorable point protectors. I'm not into the cowgirl theme, but I couldn't resist these. So cute. All right, so that is my blanket, Cozy Comforts blanket, and that is a pattern by, oh goodness, Molly. I can't think of Molly's last name, but she's from the Homespun House Yarn Dyeing, a Homespun House and Homespun House podcast. That's what I was trying to say. The name of her yarn dyeing company is a Homespun House, and she also has a podcast called A Homespun House. Okay, so let's move on into another work in progress. This is, and I'm not sure if I've shown this to you before. This is the Modern Wrapper by Church Mouse Yarns. And I've made one of these before. If I can, I'm going to insert a picture of the one I've already made. So this is the progress I have thus far on my Modern Wrapper. It's a lot of knitting. It is an oversized cardigan, and it is just one size fits all, which generally doesn't work for me, but for some reason this pattern it works so well. So the yarns that I'm using, this is a Rowan mohair silk, and what do they call it? Kid Silk Haze, Rowan Kid Silk Haze, and the color is 00682. The very descriptive color of 00682. But if I could describe this, I would say it's like a tomato red. Very, very pretty. And I'm holding it with, let me grab this skein. This yarn that I'm holding it with is called Mondine. And it was dyed by La Bien-Aimée Yarns. And so this color is called Amy's Flashy Lipstick, which is a beautiful purpley pink. And so holding these two together is giving me a very low contrast marl, but it's very, very lovely. And hold this up again. Hopefully you'll be able to see the marl. You can see these little flecks of purple and pink and orange and red. So pretty. So this Amy's Flashy Lipstick, it's definitely not a solid color. It's definitely a semi-solid. You may can see it a little bit better as I hold it closer. Definitely shades of purple, pink, and red in this as well, and it's just working so well. Now this pattern is knit on a US 10, which is a 6mm needle, and I have just gone into, so this is the back of the sweater, and I believe a portion of the front. And what happens is that you knit this big rectangle that I've already knit, and then you start to go out for your sleeve. So I'm increasing for the back and for the sleeves. It's a really interesting construction. Very well written, super fun. Yeah, so that is my Modern Wrapper. Hanging out in one of my favorite Fat Squirrel Fibers bags. So cute. All right. Keep getting so many text messages on my phone today. All right, so let's move on into another work in progress. Let me put this back in the right project bag. Okay, so the next project I want to share with you. Oh, and I'm having a moment because I can't think of the name of this pattern. Hold on. So this is a pattern by Helen Stewart, and I cannot remember the name. I'm going to put it right down. Is it the Candy Shop or is it the Land of Sweets? I can't remember. Anyway, this pattern was made for, I believe, a mini skein advent. But I didn't do that. I just used scraps of some minis that I already had, as well as some of my row one skeins. I'm so happy to get into those. And so I just cast this on after I finished that huge project of my reading shawl. I enjoyed that so much. So I was still craving lots of color, lots of, color changes. And so I decided to cast this on. I also knew that this would be a very mindless pattern. And that's exactly what it is. It's all stockinette stitch with the exception of the eyelets that you can see right there. Now, I made a few changes to my cowl. The eyelet section is in the pattern. The eyelet section should be in the center of the row, which makes absolute sense. And I did that for the first three colors. You probably can't see. You can see there with that first color how I have the eyelet in the middle of the row. And I put this down for maybe about a week or two. And I went back to knitting it, and I was very overconfident, thinking I understood the pattern and knew what I was supposed to do. But as you can see, these eyelets start at the end of the row. So you can't even tell. I don't think you can tell. And this is one of those projects. So it fits. It's going to fit over, this part goes over my head. So it's going to be one of those things that really scrunch down on the neck for warmth. And you won't even be able to tell. So thoroughly enjoying this. Now this is knit on a US 6. And this is another project where my gauge is very loose. Very loose. So I'm just may have to think about going down a needle size on some of these projects, especially sweaters, because with sweaters you can get into a serious issue if your gauge isn't correct, or if it's constantly changing each time you pick up your projects. So I will continue to work on this and continue to investigate my issue with gauge. So lots of colors. Here's my little bag. I'm keeping all of my minis in. I'm going to get that hot pink in there pretty soon. As you can see, most of these colors are pinks and purples. So the beginning of the cowl, lots and lots of purples. Even this color is a dark purple right here. And now I'm going to move into more pinky purples, and then I'm going to end it with pinks, purples, and blues. So I'm thinking it's going to be super pretty and so nice to just throw on when you just need to head out for whatever. All right. So I will need to get up quickly and find and grab my other project. And that will be it for the works in progress. And this is hanging out in this cute little Emma ball bag. Look at those kitties. Kitties with sweaters. So cute. So cute. All right, so let me go grab my other work in progress. This is my Lento sweater. It's kind of hard to see the actual progress on this because there's so many stitches on here that are bunched up. But let me hold it close to the camera so you can see the beautiful fabric I'm creating. So it starts out with this really beautiful, cozy, what do you call this? Like it's ribbing, but you fold it over and did I do a 3 needle bind off or did I'm not I'm not even sure how. I think it starts out with a provisional cast on. But I don't think I did a provisional cast on because I was thinking to myself, this is going to be really tricky to undo that with the mohair and the fingering weight held together. So I think I just cast on as usual. And I believe I picked up a stitch and knit it together with the ribbing. I think that's what I did. Okay, so this pattern is by Joanna Hatalia, and it was first published in one of the lineup magazines, and now it is a pattern that you can purchase on Ravelry. This is my second time knitting this, and it will not be my last. This is, I think, a very classic style that will never go out of style. It's just one of those things that you can just pick up and wear. It will work with everything. You can wear it with jeans or you can dress it up. I'm just imagining some beautiful bold pastel earrings or some beautiful bold silver hoops, maybe with a white shirt underneath this. So many things you can do. The pattern calls for you to knit it with 3/4 length sleeves, but of course you can adjust that for whatever works for you. And as you can see, the sleeves come down quite a bit. What else can I say about this? I think I mentioned, this is also knit on a US 10, so it is a very, very loose gauge, but you are holding 2 strands of yarn together. So this is actually a bargain alert too. If you've tried to price out yarn for a sweater that's holding 2 strands together, it's almost like paying double for your yarn because you got to buy your fingering and then you have to buy your mohair. And it can get pretty pricey. So I've loved finding substitutions for what's used in the pattern, especially if they're more bargain friendly. And so the yarn that I am knitting mine with, the fingering weight, is by Cascade Yarns. It is called Refine, and it's 100% recycled materials, 75% superwash merino wool, 20% nylon, 5% viscose. And it's 503 yards, and it was only $11.99. And it is a lovely yarn. It's really, really beautiful. It's just a basic superwash fingering. It doesn't feel like it's recycled. It's not rough. But it does have this quality of not being super sleek because it is a treated wool. It does still have a bit of toothiness to it, which is really, really nice. And then I'm holding it with this lovely yarn. As you can see, it's got sparkle in it. How pretty is that? So look at these two together. And they are creating this beautiful fabric. And the yarn, the lace weight is from Ella Rae. It is called the Kid Sparkle. And hold on, I'm looking for the full. Okay, so this is Ella Rae Kid Sparkle. The color is Rose Quartz. I don't know if I mentioned the color of this cascade. I don't think it's listed on here. No, it's not. But the color of the mohair is definitely Rose Quartz. So pretty. And this is a blend of mohair with metallic sparkle. It's 38% acrylic, 31% nylon, 27% mohair, and 4% polyester. So it's considered a number 2 fine yarn, and it can be used with It's suggesting a US 3 to 5 needle. But again, this sweater is knit at a very, very loose gauge on a US 10. I believe the ribbing for the neck was knit on a US 8, but the body of the sweater is knit on a US 10, which creates this beautiful, beautiful, lofty, airy fabric. Now, I am a bit concerned, and because of the acrylic, it might be a bit warm. So what I'm considering doing, I'm still haven't decided whether I'm going to knit 3/4 length sleeves or long sleeves or even short sleeves. So we'll have to see about that. And of course, I'll decide about the length. It is almost time for me to split for the sleeves, but I want to do a quick gauge check before I do that, just to make sure it's actually going to fit. So again, this is the Lento sweater by Joanna Hitalia. And this sweater is hanging out in what is quickly becoming one of my favorite project bags. This is by Redesign. I'm sure you've seen it all over the place. Here we go. I'm pretty sure I've shown this before too. And I don't remember which style this is, but it's the one, I would say it's about 13 inches wide, about 8 inches tall. And it's the one with the flap on the front, so you can use it. I use this when I take it with me to go. Right now I have some chapstick in there. I have some scissors, and I have used it to put other notions in it as well. I just love this bag so much. I love handbags anyway. And one thing I love about a handbag is when it has really substantial hardware on it. So I love the hardware that is on this. This strap is removable, but it's awfully convenient, like I said, when you want to meet up with your friends for knitting. And I don't know, I always end up with so many things when I do that. So this is one bag that can go as a crossbody while I'm carrying all of my other things in my hand. And then I put a little Hohi, little leather, little heart tag on the bag as well. So again, that's by Redesign. They have so many different designs and styles, so definitely check them out. Okay, so let's get into another craft that has been taking up so much of my time. Paper crafting, in particular, Gelli plate printing. I won't go into a lot of detail about what Gelli plate printing is, except to say it is a way to create beautiful papers that you can use as collage in your journals. You can use them for decoupage, say if you want to cover a keepsake box or a lampshade. The possibilities are endless. And hopefully I'll remember to put a video in the description box about how this is actually done. And on a future episode, I may actually take you with me as I create some papers. So I'm going to go through these one at a time so you can see some of the papers I've created using Gelli plate printing. So there's one. Two, this one here was, both of the last two were done using a stencil, which is fun. Here's one here. Believe it or not, getting this design, I used yarn. How cool is that? Here's another one, also used with yarn, metallic golds and blacks. This might be my favorite. It's got those metallic golds and oranges and yellows. Let's see, I'm not going to go through all these because we're going to be here forever. Let me just pull out some of my favorites. Okay, here is one that I used. Got some gold metallic in there, and I used some dead leaves that were, or leaves that were close to dead from plants I have here in the house. Same thing with this one, lots of gold metallic on that. Let's see if I can find another one. Oh, now this one I think I'll just show you these two. Let's see, yeah, just these two here. This is another favorite of mine. And you see the texture on there? You see the grunginess of the black? I think that is just so pretty. And finally, this one here. Flexa Gold, lots of grunge. This was done using stencils and acrylic paint. So yes, thoroughly enjoying that. I have already used some of these papers in my journal, and I will share that with you either on a separate episode where I delve deeper into my paper crafting practice, or either I'll just include it in a usual podcast. So that's all I have to share with the things I've been working on. I have been spinning, but I don't have a finished skein to share with you now, maybe next episode. So now I want to talk about some of the things I have acquired over the past few weeks. If that's not your cup of tea, thank you for joining me for this episode, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. All right, so let's start with this. I first saw this project bag on, I believe it was Young Folk Knits podcast. She was doing, she did a make-along. Oh, I can't think of the name of the make-along. It has something to do with fish. If I can remember, I'm going to put it right down here. And Rose and the Wren actually made a project bag to complement the knit-along or the make-along. And I decided to pre-order one, and this is what I got. How adorable is this? I love this bag so much. There's her little logo tag on the back. It's scrappy. It's almost like mixed media. It's got some embroidery on it. It's got some applique. Just so many fun things. Some quilting. And it's such a good size. Such a good size. This is definitely going to be a sweater bag. So love, love, love this. And I think, I'm not sure whether she has, whether she's taking more orders for these, but I will definitely link to her website in the show notes. The show notes will be just below in the description box. I should have mentioned that at the beginning, but I'm a bit rusty. This is now iced coffee, but it's still so good. All right. Next up, let's go through this really quick. I just stuffed a few things in this cute little basket here so that I can share them with you. It looks like a little gift basket, doesn't it? All right, so I came across a new to me diary. Well, I didn't come across it. One of my friends came across it on Instagram, and she sent me this post by Rose Hill Yarns, and we all agreed that this color was spectacular and we had to have it. So we did a pre-order for this. How absolutely beautiful is that? So this is on her fingering weight base, and it is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon blend, and the color is Holiday Peppermint. So beautiful. So we all got that skein, and then another one, I just couldn't resist it. Flannel apple on the same base. You know how sometimes buying yarn online can be really difficult because you really don't know what you're going to get. So I was so pleased when I got this, because actually both of these skeins look exactly how they look on the internet. So this color is called Flannel and Apple. And I love her tag. Look at that. So gorgeous. This might be my next sock cast on. It's going to be competing with the Holiday Peppermint though, so I don't know. So pretty. So pretty. So again, Rose Hill Yarns, they are out of Canada. because with the exchange rate, it's can get some beautiful yarn at a really, really good price here in the US. So highly, highly recommend Rose Hill Yarns. Next up, I will share with you the Enchanted Pages sock yarn from Chelsea Yarns. It is on her Luxe sock base, which is also an 80/20 superwash merino nylon blend, and the color is October Thriller. Look at that, so pretty, so pretty. So this is October, and I'm wondering whether I'm going to have to look in my orders to see if I ordered the November color. Look at that, so looks like toasted marshmallows, right? To see if I ordered the November color, because I know I just ordered the December or the winter color. Maybe there was no November color. In any event, I will check. I just love collecting these. I love anything Chelsea Yarns makes. She could dye white and I would buy it. It's just something about her bases, and it just love, love, love her yarn. Let's see. She's also a fellow paper crafter, and a journaler, which we have in common. Now this next skein is by Emma's Yarn. It is her Hella Hank skein, dyed in Florida. The color is Foxy Lady, and it is a 80/10/10 base superwash merino cashmere nylon, and it is 600 yards. So I picked this up when we took a day trip to Harrisonburg, Virginia, because Ray, my husband, wanted to go to Buc-ee's. If you've ever been to a Buc-ee's, let me know. He was so excited to go. I said, okay, babe, I will go with you to Buc-ee's. I was not very excited, but as you know, he's just the perfect yarn husband, and he takes me to all these yarn events. So the least I could do was oblige him and go with him to Buc-ee's. But of course, I did some research to see if there was a yarn shop near where we were staying, and indeed it was. And I cannot think of the name of that shop, but I will put it right here. It was a lovely shop. Very, very friendly girl was in there working, and this is what I picked up. They had actually just completed a trunk show with Emma's Yarn, and I just love this so much. Look at that, it's so beautiful. This is the only thing I picked up from the trunk show. I picked up a couple of other things. And then maybe about 2 weeks after that, I was spending some time with my dear friend in the Baltimore area. Hey, Stacy. And we went to Black Sheep Yarn, which is it's on the outskirts of Baltimore City. I can't remember the actual name of the town it's in, but I spotted these two skeins of mohair silk by Earth Yarns. I didn't even know Earth Yarns had a mohair silk base. And I was thinking to myself, even though I didn't have this skein with me, I was thinking, I think this would be perfect to go with this skein, and it actually is. Look at that. So it's some future time, I will be holding these two together to do a project, probably a shawl. The color of this mohair silk is there is no, oh, I'm sorry, the color is smoke. The color is smoke, and I'm trying to see if the yardage, 262 yards. So I have about 520 yards. So I didn't think that through very good. I probably should have picked up another one of these. So I may have to ask my good friend to pick me up another one the next time she goes, or think of an excuse to head back out there, just so I can have enough to use every single bit of this lovely skein here, which is 600 yards. Okay, so that is that. And then the final thing I want to share with you, I thought I was finished shopping at Black Sheep Yarn. I was just browsing around after I had made my purchases, which is a very dangerous thing. And I spotted something in the pom-pom bowl. which is this here. This lovely pom-pom. I'm really not a pom-pom girl. You don't see me knit a lot of my hats with pom-poms, but I mean, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's so fluffy and fuzzy. And I've never used one of the pom-poms that has the button, which is supposed to make it so easy to use. Is it a button and a snap, or yeah, I'll have to do some research on how to attach this, but so pretty. So I was like, I have to have this. I know I have something at home I could use to make a hat with, but I'm here in the yarn shop. Why not look for something while I'm here so I'll know for sure it's going to work. So this was it took us quite a while. And I say us because Stacy also got the same pom-pom, and we're going to knit the same hat. This is going to be our New Year's Day cast on. So on January 1st, we are both going to start our hat. That's like a little tradition I like to do, just to start a new project at the beginning of the year. And this is the yarn that we will be using. So we're going to hold the mohair with this lovely worsted. I think this is a DK weight. No, this is a worsted weight yarn. We're going to be knitting the Simple Pleasures hat. And this yarn is just so beautiful. The base is Cumbria by the Fiber Company, and the color is Black Beck. And it's basically black with a very faint hint of turquoise. There you go. Can you see that? So pretty. This actually reminds me of some Daylights yarn I purchased at Rhinebeck. I so wanted to do a Rhinebeck recap, but I think it's kind of late to do that now. So as the months go on, you'll be seeing some of the things I picked up from Rhinebeck. So yeah. So yes, this is going to be a lovely, fun project. I cannot wait to start. Less than 2 weeks to start. Can you believe we are almost at the end of 2025? Just bananas. So I think I got through everything I wanted to share with you. I will close out with a few pictures from Rhinebeck. I mentioned Rhinebeck earlier. We had the most amazing time. Lorian, who also has a podcast, the name of her podcast is the Knitting Monologues, and she graciously hosted me and my dear friend Tasha for the weekend. And she and her family, her husband Todd and her son, were just the quintessential hosts. They made us feel so comfortable. And then they have the cutest dog. He's a standard poodle. Me and the dog just had the best time together. We bonded. He kept stealing my slippers for some reason. He was really into my slippers. But we just had a great time. We shopped together for a little bit at Rhinebeck, and then we split off, and then we'd meet back up together, shared lots of meals and some quiet knitting time and some football at Lorian's house, and we just had the best time together. So Lorian, thank you again for your wonderful hospitality, and look forward to seeing you again very soon. So I think that is all I have to share with you. I hope you're doing well. I hope that if you, like me, just have a lot going on in life, hopefully you're finding lots of joy in your making, in your crafting, even if it's really simple projects, which is what I love doing, because it allows me to continue to make even though I have a lot in life going on. So have really enjoyed being with you today, and I will see you again in the next episode, maybe as soon as a week, maybe 2 weeks, we'll see. In any event, stay well, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.